Hi, my name's Kate and I'm the author of Eat Clean with Kate. Today I have a video blog for you, a vlog, on how to make a roasted Brussels sprout salad with quinoa and a honey mustard vinaigrette. We're also going to roast some bacon in there too, because everybody loves bacon, right? So to start off, I'm going to pour myself a little glass of wine. Feel free to pour yourself one and make yourself at home. I've got a semi-dry here today. Nothing like a cold glass of white wine on a crisp fall night. So to start, we need Brussels sprouts. I've got lots here from the farmer's market, and we need to trim them and make them ready to be roasted. First thing we need to do is we need to take a knife and just cut off the end. Once we're done with that, we're also going to want to slice it in half, or if it's a larger Brussels sprout, we can chop it into quarters. So now I've got my halves and I've got all my Brussels sprouts prepared here. They've already been washed, I did that earlier, and especially if you got them from the farmer's market, you're going to want to make sure they're clear of any dirt or anything like that. If there's some leaves on the outside that look a little bit dirtier or rough, you can of course throw those out, but I like to leave the loose leaves and roast them along with everything else. Alright, so with that, we've got our lined baking sheet. I use some Reynolds Wrap non-stick, and I'm just going to place my Brussels sprouts right on top of that. So now once I've got them all on the sheet, my next step is going to be to spread them out in an even layer. So we'll switch here. Alright, now from here, I'm going to put some garlic on there. The easiest way, I think, to do fresh garlic is to take a knife, place the garlic, the unpeeled garlic on the paper towel, and then using the flat edge of the knife, press down till you hear it crack slightly, turn it around, and do that on the other side. So this will allow you to peel the garlic a little bit easier, as garlic tends to be really tricky to peel. So now I've got my whole peeled piece of garlic. Easiest way then, I think, is to use what I call garlic press. You can place the cloves right in there and then just go ahead and smash out the garlic. So it might come out in a large chunk, kind of like this. And then I just like to use my fingers and kind of scatter the garlic around. Now, I am a garlic lover, so I'm actually going to use 3 cloves, which I know would normally scare people. I also like to scrape the skin of the other one off to make room for some fresher pressed garlic. So I'll do that, actually put both of those together. Do that with my other garlic cloves. Again, depending on if you like garlic or how garlicky you like things. Alright, so I've got my garlic here. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pour a little olive oil. So I've got a very large jug from Costco. I'm going to take it out and I'm going to lightly drizzle or pour some olive oil around. So I've got enough on there, even though it's kind of all in one spot. I'm just going to take my Brussels sprouts and start to massage them into the oil. So I'm looking for most Brussels sprouts to be evenly coated. Alright, and now that I've got a good layer of oil on them, I'm going to wipe my hands here. And I'm going to sprinkle over a little salt and pepper. So I got my salt and pepper, just going to give them a nice little touch. And then the next step is bacon. So if you're a vegetarian or a vegan, obviously, you can get rid of this step. But I love bacon as well, and I think it just adds a really nice flavor to roasted vegetables. So I've got here some thick cut bacon that I bought at Trader Joe's. It also is nitrate free, which is the best way to go, as nitrates are a harmful preservative that cause a lot of issues and have actually been shown to cause cancer in lab animals. So, something to keep in mind. It is a little bit more expensive, but I think totally worth it. So, I'm slicing my bacon into thick strips, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to slice it again to make it into little smaller, manageable pieces. Now what I've got here is some pretty thick chunks of sliced bacon. So when I go to spread it around on my Brussels sprouts, I'll take a few chunks and then I'll use my fingers to separate out the bacon. So I've got, again, larger chunks, just separate it out. Not sure if I'll need to use all of that bacon. I think I went a little crazy on how much to cut up. But I can always fry up bacon later and have homemade bacon bits to use on salads or baked potatoes or other things as they store well. So I've got some bacon here on my tray, and I think we're just about ready to roast. These are smelling and looking delicious. All right, so enough with the bacon. Wipe my hands here. I'm gonna pop these in the oven. I'm roasting at 350 today. So you can obviously roast at a higher temperature if you'd like to get them done a little bit quicker. The reason why I like to roast them at a lower temperature for longer is I feel the bacon cooks a little bit more evenly that way. So one downfall of using thick cut bacon is it takes longer to bake, but it is absolutely worth it. Stay tuned for what's coming next. Welcome back. Our roasted Brussels sprouts are just about ready to be taken out of the oven, and then we're going to put them together with the quinoa and our honey mustard vinaigrette, and it is going to taste absolutely amazing. So let's check on them. It's been roughly about 20 minutes, and oh, they are looking and smelling delicious. So these are definitely done. They've got a nice brown color. The bacon is all crisp. And the leaves are a little bit darker than the whole or half pieces themselves, but it's going to work out perfect. So actually, I'm going to put this into a bowl right away. So I've got my plastic bowl here to start. I'm just going to tip this nicely, and then using my spatula, I'm going to scoop my Brussels sprouts right in there. Oh, wish I could describe these to you in the way that they smell. So good. So I'll turn my oven off here. Don't want any little pieces to escape. All right, so I got my Brussels sprouts, and they're pretty steaming warm. So I've also made some quinoa. And the way I made my quinoa was in a rice cooker, and that's almost always how I make it. It's the easiest, just set it and forget it. I use the same measurements as it says in the package. So here, I've got roughly a cup and a half of quinoa, so I'm just going to pour that into the bowl. Scrape out any last bits. And quinoa is a really cool grain, although it's not really grain, it's more like a seed. You can actually eat the plant itself, or the leaves itself, I should say, in which it has a ton of protein. So quinoa has roughly about 8 grams per cup, so that's pretty cool. It's actually a complete protein, which is awesome. So I'm going to mix this around, and it is looking very good. So I've got it quinoa mixed in with my Brussels sprouts, and now it's time to make the dressing. So over here I have got a small bowl, and then I've also got some lemons, some Dijon mustard, some raw honey, and then I'm also going to use a little bit of olive oil that we used before, and then of course a little salt and pepper. So to start, I'm just going to put a little bit of Dijon, a little squirt is fine, and also a bit of raw honey, if I can get it open, that is. This is the largest bottle of honey I've ever bought, and actually we normally get our honey from a family friend of mine who keeps bees, which is usually pretty cool, but we happen to be out. So I bought some at Costco, organic raw honey. If you can't tell, I love Costco. It has such great deals on large, in-bulk, organic things, and it's amazing. All right, so now I'm going to sprinkle in a little bit of salt and pepper and squeeze about a half of a lemon. So I'm going to self-proclaim that I'm not the best citrus squeezer in the world. Usually use one of those citrus squeezers machines. Today, decided I will try to do it by hand. The one thing I don't like about doing it by hand is I happen to get the seeds usually in there. Some people strain it through their fingers. That works too. All right, so we've got a little bit of honey and mustard and some lemon juice. I like to throw my lemons in the garbage disposal, keep it nice and fresh. All right, and then from here, I'm gonna grab a whisk. Got my handy dandy whisk. I'm going to whisk that together a little bit. So it's looking pretty thick right now, and I'm going to add just a tiny bit of olive oil. If you have other oil like grapeseed or avocado, which we actually have both of, you could use that as well. But I happen to be a big fan. So I'm going to pour and whisk lightly at the same time. So just a little bit of olive oil here. Let that blend. And then I like to taste as I go. That tastes pretty good. So I've got a nice honey mustard vinaigrette going on. I'm going to add just a little bit more oil. Thin it out just a tiny bit. I'm going to drizzle this over my entire salad. And then again, if you're adding more ingredients, you'll want to taste as you go. That's pretty good. All right, so I think I'm ready to serve. So I've got my salad. I've got my dressing, and I'm just going to drizzle over before I stir. So I'll scrape out mustard that's settled on the bottom a little bit here. All right, scoop that around. Whoops. It's looking fantastic. Just the perfect amount of dressing to coat it nicely but not make it too soggy. All right, and then to top it off, I'm gonna put a little Parmesan cheese in there. So again, optional if you are, vegetarian, or I should say vegan. There's no meat in Parmesan cheese, not that I know of. But I love cheese, and I think it just gives a great added touch, especially the nuttiness of Parmesan. Another great thing in the salad would be some slivered almonds, especially if they were toasted, or another nut toasted, maybe even walnuts. That would give it a little bit of nuttiness. So we had the rich Brussels sprouts from the bacon grease, and then we balanced it with a little bit of citrus, a little bit of sweet and sour. And then we've got the nuttiness of the Parmesan cheese, and this is gonna be fantastic. So let's have a taste. I'm gonna grab a bowl out of here, scoop myself in a little bit. So it would be a great meatless Monday dish if you were to get rid of the bacon. It's nice and filling with that protein from the quinoa. It's based around vegetables, so a lot of Brussels sprouts, and I swear even Brussels sprout haters will like this salad. So let's take a bite here. That is perfect. So perfect indeed that I'm gonna eat this entire bowl and then maybe some more afterwards. All right, everybody. That's all I've got for you today. If you want to see more or read more, visit me at www.eatcleanwithkate.com, and I'll be sure to be back. Have a great night. Bon appetit.